What's going on YouTube? How's everybody doing? It's Wheezy here. I'm definitely glad to be back to show you guys another build video. But first, we just hit 50 subscribers on YouTube, man. I can't appreciate you guys' love enough, man. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Definitely needed to be noticed. If you are new to the channel, please go subscribe. Please go follow me on Twitch at Wheezy2588. I definitely appreciate you guys' love, man. I can't thank you enough. But without further ado, we are going to get into this build. First is the build. We're wearing tip of the spear. Got 4-piece tip of the spear. All right. Now, when it comes to specialization, this is a specialization build because, as you can see, this gear set here, tip of the spear, gives you 10% signature weapon damage and also 10% weapon damage as well for a 3-piece. All right. Now the 4-piece does aggressive recon. Dealing damage with signature weapon increases total weapon damage by 20% for 60 seconds. So this is giving an extra 20% weapon damage increase to your signature weapon and all your weapons at the same time. Now just for having this chest piece on, specialized destruction increases aggressive recon. Weapon damage bonus from 20% to 40%. So that 20% that we had up here increases to 40% because we have this chest piece on. All right. You also need to have 4 pieces of tip of the spear on for this to be active, or it just won't work. Okay. All right. Now tip of the spear comes all reds. Okay. So definitely keeping it an all red damage build. We have crit damage everywhere with, weapon damage everywhere, crit damage. We're using the Petrov gloves here. I like the Petrov gloves, to be honest. Damage to armor is multiplicative. The first thing we're hitting on these enemies is armor. I like hitting the armor first. You can also use an LMG in this case. You can use any gun you want. This is a build that you can actually just, make your own style, make your own way, use your own weapons. You can actually even use your own specialization in this case. As for the backpack here, we're using Walker and Harris. This is an extra 5% weapon damage. This will increase your specialization and your weapons at the same time. We got headshot, crit damage, and you can actually put any red mods you have. Crit damage, crit chance, or headshot will work. I tried for a headshot and some crit damage. It definitely works. It's not. I don't think this build is about having the highest damage. I believe this build is made for the specializations to actually do their job in battle. All right. If you're definitely dealing with heavies, and the heavier, harder enemies, you definitely want to be using these specializations on them most of the time and when you can in battle. Definitely. As for the guns, you can use any guns you want. Obviously, I like the Eagle Bear. I'm using an LMG because I am using the Petrov gloves, so that does help as well. The pistol, you can use any pistol. I like Perfect Finisher. You can use Perfect Finisher too as well. Just proc Finisher and then switch to your weapon. You can have extra weapon damage in your weapons and also your specialization. It does increase the number as well. We're going back out here to the specializations. Again, this is a build for any specialization. All right, just make sure everything in the tree is unlocked for whatever specialization you're using, and make sure you're using the gun damage for whatever gun you're using over here in the bottom left. Everything else, just make sure everything else is unlocked. It's all beneficial, definitely for the certain guns you're using or how you're positioned or stance. Just make sure everything's unlocked. It's definitely viable. Definitely viable. The main thing is signature weapon damage over here. You want tier 4 passive talent here. You definitely need that. And if you want to get some more ammo back and more efficiently while you kill more enemies, you definitely want group signature ammo acquisition. You definitely want that unlocked too as well. But that's for the gunner. That's for the mini gunner. Of course, every other specialization, make sure you have unlocked. Make sure everything's unlocked. You can use any specialization. I just previewed every specialization you could use. It will increase the weapon damage. That's definitely what this build does. As for the skills, you can use any 2 skills you want as well. I use the Healing Hive and the Banshee Pulse. Of course, the Banshee Pulse gives them disrupt and it pulses the enemies. It's a good distraction. It's a good hold. Uh, you're not going to be doing a lot with this build. You know, you can do a lot of damage with your specialization and your weapons as well, but you will feel a little lack of leniency to this build, so it has a purpose. Just make sure you're using the specialization and dishing out a lot of damage as you can, because you are squishy and you don't have any armor. Now you can finagle this build around, you know, and play with it, you know, and put blues and yellows on it and stuff like that. That's totally up to you. I just present this build all reds because it has a purpose for specializations, and you definitely want these things hitting hard as you can against these enemies. Now, me personally, I like the minigun. All right, that's my favorite is specialization. We're using the LMG, so it also buffs up the LMG. Definitely for this mod in here, we got an extra 50 rounds. You can use whatever mods you want. I use crit damage mods in the other two mods. There's a 10% here as well. I like the 50 more rounds because I also use measured. Um, I definitely want to optimize this weapon as well. I believe I have another one like it that's triple god rolled, but that's this character. But more rounds for measured, I think, is more beautiful. You definitely want to be just holding 100 and some rounds and just consistent damage because you have a damage build, but you're mainly just switching on and off to your specialization. All right, you're always going to be switching and in and out. So that this build has a purpose and it's a play style, and you know it might not be for you, but you know it's definitely a slept on build. I don't think a lot of people use this build. It's definitely useful to against certain enemies. It really is, especially in the raid. I use this on Razorback. Definitely for the minigun, we can shoot the weak points out really fast. It's a lot of situations and a lot of uh, ways you can get around with different specializations with this build. This is a pure specialization weapon build. Just use it for what specialization you're using to the fullest. Is my best opinion. Um, we are running vigilance for the extra 25% damage. I have been finagling pieces around to try to, you know, figure out what does more damage. But you can actually use anything, you know, anything damage wise that buffs damage, gives you more damage. You can use the Providence Vigilance. That'll work as well. Even your gun damage. If you want more gun damage in your gun, use Sokolov Fenris, you know, or any other gun damage gear piece. And you also necessarily don't even need to use the contractor's gloves. You can also use the Fox's Prayer knee pads as well. You know, just make sure you switch on to the tip of the spear gloves. And you can also wear damage to targets out of cover. You know, the same way too, that'll work as well. But me personally, I like the damage to armor because that's the first thing you're hitting is armor. You want to do the most damage you can first initially. It'll knock off the armor and then health will come right off with it. So it's definitely just how I run it. It's just the way I present it. You can run it any way you want with any talents, any guns, any skills, and of course any specialization. Just make sure you're doing your job with the build. That is the build, guys. It is simple. I do appreciate you guys' love, man. We are growing a little bit. Let's do a road to 100 subscribers. I definitely can't appreciate you guys' love. You guys are awesome. But in the meantime, you guys be easy, be safe. Wheezy out.